As always, everyone, it is such a pleasure to be here. I love getting to do these webinars and sessions. I'm extremely passionate about connecting with small business owners so that I can share knowledge and information that I had to kind of learn the hard way as a business owner. There's a lot of resources and tools out there that you may not realize exist, and automating your business is one of the best things you can probably do, not just for your own personal time, but for your employees' time as well. So let's dive in. We've got a lot to cover today. Okay, so why automation is crucial. You can win back your time as a business owner. As we all know, our time is very finite. So having as much of it won back for ourselves as possible is really important. You can also win back your employees' time. Employees really enjoy automation. There's a lot of manual tasks that you might be asking your employees to do that could actually be automated. And it's not necessarily that you're trying to take away or remove some of their responsibilities or tasks that they do, but rather you're freeing up their time to not have to do those repetitive manual tasks over and over and over so that they can focus on more areas of their career development and also help your business. Automation can help you reduce costs. And I've got some great examples that we'll be going over to see just how impactful automation can be in terms of costs and where your money is spent. And then it can also improve your customer experience because you can incorporate consistency into the experience your customers have. Customers love it when the experiences or the service they're provided is the same repeatedly, and they know what to count on and rely on from your business. So consistency is a fantastic thing for the customer experience. Let's take a look at some of the top areas that you can build automation into your business. There are 7 areas. We're going to go really in depth into 4 of them today, but then I will have a few additional ones that will hopefully get the wheels and the cogs moving for you so you can think about, oh, these are other areas that I hadn't even considered I might be able to automate. So scheduling, reservations, and appointments. This is a great example of a business that might need to book appointments or people schedule services with them. And a lot of times you see these businesses kind of go with one of the more, I don't want to say old school versions, but definitely maybe not as efficient as possible. And that's the version where you essentially have somebody, maybe yourself or an employee, accepting phone calls every single day and booking those appointments or reservations. Maybe it's in a physical calendar, or maybe you are using something online, but they're still making those themselves. They're setting them up manually. So really simple version of where you can build an automation here is just this kind of 3-point flow chart that I have outlined at the top. The customer books an appointment online via your website. An appointment is added to the calendar, and then the appointment occurs. Super simple, but you just cut out the responsibility of the person who's manually sitting there answering the phone and making that appointment. This might seem pretty minimal, but when you start thinking about the time that is saved, let's go with a little bit of a scenario here. Let's say you get 10 calls a day. Each one of those calls is 15 minutes long. So you're spending about 2.5 hours a day booking appointments. Over time, especially if you're paying someone even at minimum wage, that could be the cost of $9,000 to $15,000 a year just to have somebody sit there booking appointments, while you could actually automate this and have those appointments be scheduled through your website. There's also a much larger, repeatable, scalable version here. And I always like to think through, okay, what's the simplified version that we can start with, get it in place, get accustomed to working with automation, and then we can start building upon that automation as we're getting more familiar with it and how it works. So this repeatable, scalable version looks a little bit more like the first 3 elements, but then there's this additional parts where a follow-up email is delivered to the customer, thanking them or reminding them that they might be up for time to book an appointment with you again. They need to use your services again. that leads the customer to say, oh, yep, they're right. I need to go back and book that. And you end up just with this lovely little circle or a flywheel of essentially repeatable business. And again, you're saving all of the time by not having to answer those phone calls yourself. So again, if we're looking at estimated hours saved over a week, you might be saving anywhere between 12 to 20 hours, which in a year equates to 600 to 1,000 hours of you or your employees' time. And again, the cost benefit you've saved here could be, several thousand a year, even if you're only taking a couple phone calls a day. So that brings me to, what are some of the tools that are available out there for business owners to do scheduled automation? There's a lot of tools. These are just a couple of the few that I am familiar with, and I've tried to make some, I've tried to bring in some variation here because cost is also always one of those things that we want to consider. So Constant Contact, this is a fantastic tool, and it does have some variable costs depending on how you're using it. You have scheduling, you can do email campaigns, which email campaigns are super important, and we'll get into that a little bit later on in our marketing elements. And then you also have Constant Contact of the Novo exclusive perk. So of course I'm with Novo. I'm going to point out that we work with a lot of softwares and companies as perks and integrations that you can benefit from if you are a Novo customer. Constant Contact is one of those. And then I love Constant Contact because they also make it really easy for you to have a branded booking landing page. A landing page is essentially the page your customer ends up on that allows them to schedule that appointment. And having that be branded and looking appropriate for your business is really important for that customer experience, because they want to feel confident and feel like they are definitely booking with you. So having branded landing pages is a fantastic way to really enhance the experience the customer is having with your website. HoneyBook is also a fantastic tool, a little bit lower price point, and it's consistent across the board. They don't have that variable scale. They do offer scheduling, email campaigns. It is, again, a Novo exclusive perk, and they do not have a branded booking page, but instead what they provide is you can integrate a link for their scheduling onto your website. And then Calendly is also another option. Calendly is entirely free for scheduling. They do not have email campaigns. They're not currently a Novo exclusive perk, and they don't have a branded booking page. But in the case that you want to just try starting out with Calendly to see how this works for your business, could be a fantastic option, and it's free. So that's really important. All right, so another area that you can definitely save yourself some time and some money is in your invoicing and payments due. Sending out and following up on invoices and payments over and over can get very old for either you or your employee quite quickly. It could take a lot of time, and it might mean that you're maybe not as consistent as your customer needs you to be with when they receive the invoice that they need to pay you for. That can result in you having inconsistent timeframes when you receive payments from your customers or vendors. So many invoicing platforms do make it quite simple to set up recurring invoices, and this can be a great way to save yourself time. It's also really easy to build an automation for your it's really easy to build an automation into your company. And again, here are some tools that work really well with automated invoicing. QuickBooks. A lot of us know QuickBooks as a bookkeeping tool. That is definitely its primary function, but QuickBooks does have invoicing included in its online version. So if you're using QuickBooks online, take a look at the invoicing options that are available in there. What I love about QuickBooks invoicing is it also means when that invoice is paid, it's very simply added in and aligned with your bookkeeping. So that makes it very simple to keep track of not just payments received from invoices, but make sure that they're in QuickBooks the way they need to be. There's also Novo invoicing. So Novo on our platform has a fantastic invoicing tool. It is probably one of my favorite invoicing tools that I have come across just because of the way it looks, the way it functions, and it does have a reoccurring feature. So let's talk about reoccurring a little bit. All of the ones that I've recommended here do have reoccurring elements. And what that means is if you have a business where you consistently charge or send an invoice to a client or a vendor for the same amount every single month or on a consistent cadence, you can set that invoice up to send itself out when it needs to go. So you're not repeating the process week after week or month after month. You set it, send it, and let it do its thing. And then we also have HoneyBook. So you'll see HoneyBook brought up a lot on the tools that I have for recommendations here. I've checked out the HoneyBook platform pretty extensively, and I'm very impressed with what they're offering for many areas of business automation. Okay. The next area we can focus on is financing and budgeting. So this one can take a little bit of planning and definitely will require some organizing, but automating your finances can and will save you a lot of time and even potentially money. So bills are one of the most important things you can do to automate when it comes to your financing. Missing bills can have big impacts on your business, not just because you might be accruing fees from missing bills, but if also could be very impactful to your business's reputation. If you have a vendor that you work with and they bill you consistently, but you're missing the payments to them, they might be reconsidering working with you, which for your business isn't great. You don't want to lose out on that relationship. And you might also be causing yourself to have a relationship that's a little bit less flexible in the future when you maybe need to work on a new payment structure with them, or you want to see about what offers and discounts they provide for really fantastic, consistent clients. So some of the best ways you can go about organizing your bills is first, figure out what your payment dates are. Most companies bill you based on when you signed up. A great example of this might be your utility bills. You went to the utility office and set up payments with them, and they said, okay, you're here on the 10th, so that's when your payments are due. Well, more often than not, you can contact those companies. This includes credit card companies, banks where you might be sending loan payments to, and you can ask them to set the bill date for a specific date or dates of the month. This is really commonly seen when people saying, I pay my bills on the 1st and the 15th, or the 15th and the 30th, or the 28th, because sometimes there's not always 30 days in a month. And this allows you to know consistently, those are the dates that I have to make sure I have the funds to pay these bills. It makes it a lot easier and simpler for you to be prepared for when those bill payments come up. Once you have them scheduled, you can calculate how much your bills are going to be each time they come around. So you know exactly how much your once or twice a month totals are going to be and can budget accordingly, which will help prevent any overdraft fee surprises. Overdraft fees are never fun. They can add up very quickly, and they're just one of those things where you see a $25 fee here, you see a $25 fee there, you don't think about it, but over time, those $25 turns into $100 and then $200, and it just grows. So anything you can avoid to avoid those fees is going to be really beneficial. Auto payments. So most services will let you set up monthly auto payments. And this is a fantastic option because the less human involvement there is in the consistency of you paying your bills, the better. A, you're not going online and remembering every single company you have to go pay your bill to. And B, you're not putting yourself in a position of accidentally missing a due date. So taking advantage of auto payments is really important. And then again, because you have already scheduled the dates that your bills are going to come out on, you also already know, okay, on the 15th, all my auto payments are going to happen. I've budgeted, I'm prepared, I'm good to go. I had to spend 30 seconds today thinking about this, and I have all the confidence that it's all taken care of. You can Also leverage consistent on-time payments to your advantage. We talked about this briefly for a second, but this is a great way in the future to negotiate discounts, additional perks, or even lower interest rates. Companies who have fantastic clients who are this consistent, pay on time, never have fees, never are late, love working with you to figure out if there's additional perks or lower interest rates that they can provide you. So you can leverage that to your benefit. You want to be the company that other companies love working with because you're reliable. And you can make yourself reliable because you automated your life. They don't have to know that you just set it and let it go. They just know that you're reliable. And then in your budget. So you know how much your bills are going to cost you each month. You can then turn that into a percentage of your monthly income. Every time you receive income from your business, you can take that percentage out of the deposit into your bank and set it aside into a bills category. That is the account or the category where your bills come out from every single time. By doing this, you're setting yourself up for not having to be in the position of on the 13th or the 14th going, oh gosh, I don't quite have enough for what I'm expecting to come out on the 15th for all my bills. I have to take all the income I make in the next 2 days and only apply it to bills. You're giving yourself the advantage of saying, I know that every month, 20% of my gross income goes towards my bills. So I take 20% of every single deposit I receive all month long. And by the time those bills come around, everything's taken care of. It reduces a lot of the financial stress and worry that typically sits on the shoulders of small business owners. And then you just get to sit back and let the magic happen. Now everything's set up and ready to go. You organized it and it'll just run into the existence as long as it can go. Budgeting is a great game changer and really makes a huge difference. I'm personally a huge fan of the profit first model for budgeting, which also helps build in automation, not just for your bill payments, but for many other things. So if you've never heard of Profit First, I would definitely encourage you to check it out. We actually did a webinar about it several weeks ago, and there is a recording of that webinar on our community page. So again, joining the Novo Alignable community is fantastic for resources and educational tools that can help you out as business owners. Okay, so bookkeeping is one of the other areas where you can automate your finances. This is going to be more on the, okay, we've made these transactions, we've had these expenses come out. How do I set myself up to be in the best position to not have to spend hours and hours going through those transactions every single week or every single month, categorizing them? Many bookkeeping tools allow you to choose the category for a specific transaction type. So let's say you consistently use the same marketing vendor to do all of your marketing. And every time that vendor charges your account, when you see that on your bookkeeping information, it's the same line item. It comes through as the same vendor every time. You can tell your software every time this vendor pops up in my expenses, it always gets categorized as marketing. Categorizing is really important because you get tax benefits and deductions, and also is another way that you can save yourself a lot of unnecessary costs down the road by having really good categorizing of your transactions in place. So when you go into your bookkeeping and set those consistent ones to be the same categories every single time they happen, they're just automatically running in the background. And then you only have to deal with the ones that aren't necessarily consistent and you actually do need to categorize each time. This can sometimes save you up to 40 to 60% of your business expenses that you don't have to look at every single time you go into your bookkeeping. So a great example of all of the finances and budgeting here, I have a little bit of a scenario business. So Kathy has 10 bills she has to pay for her company monthly. She runs a daycare, and at the end of the day, keeping up with her due dates and bills just gets past her sometimes. It's a long day, kiddos are a lot. Over the last 6 months, Kathy has missed 3 of her credit card payments and her utility payment caused her account to overdraft twice. She had the funds for it, but forgot to make sure they were in the account she was going to pay with. Over the 3 late payments and the 2 overdraft fees in 6 months, Kathy has lost a total of $140. Doesn't feel like that much money at first glance, but especially for a small daycare business, $140 might be the difference between some fantastic crafting supplies for those kids to take advantage of, or maybe paying Kathy her owner compensation at the end of the week. So being on top of your finances to avoid that is really important, because as you can see, if that's happening in 6 months for Kathy, what happens in 18 months? What happens in 24 months? As things grow and go over time, if you're not keeping up with those, the funds you're losing just continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So what are some of the tools that are available for finance automation? Well, we've got a few here. Again, I'm going to try and give a few options. YNAB. I'm a user of YNAB personally and for my business endeavors when I either get that entrepreneurial spirit and start a new business, or in my past business endeavors. It stands for You Need a Budget. It's a fantastic tool. It's very customizable. And that is one of the categories I've rated this tool here, is how customizable is it for your business? So I rated YNAB as a 5-star customizable tool. Automated categorization. Yes, there is definitely automated categorizing that you can do with YNAB. Novo exclusive perk. Yes. And then also financial insights. Yes. Financial insights are really important with your budgeting and financing tools, because come tax season, when you're working with your accountant, they're going to need that data. And if you don't have it available for them, it's going to make your tax season very stressful. Xero is another fantastic tool that you can consider. It's going to be $12 to $65 a month. Customizing a little bit lower on the customizable scale. We rated it a 3 out of 5 stars, but it does have that automated categorizing. It is a Novo exclusive perk, and of course it has financial insights. And then Novo. Novo is a free tool. We are not necessarily considered a budgeting or bookkeeping tool like you would find with QuickBooks or with Xero or even with YNAB, but for some simple tracking and monitoring and categorizing of your transactions, YNAB is a great tool. Novo is a great tool for those elements. It is free, rated 4 out of 5 stars on customizable. There is automated categorizing for your expenses. It's Novo, so of course it's a Novo exclusive perk. And then there are financial insights that you can download as CSV files to provide to your accountant or tax advisors. All right, let's talk about marketing. Marketing used to be one of those areas of business that I would clam up. It would give me so much stress. I felt like I had to be so creative at moments when I didn't want to be creative. And the times when I had the creativity, it wasn't when I was planning on focusing on marketing. And so it never really worked out for me. But then I realized that I could automate my marketing, and this was a game changer. So automated marketing is fantastic. It runs in the background and can impact a lot of things. It impacts your customer experience, promotions, events, and newsletters, helps with customer retention and re-engagement, allows you to send confirmations of appointments or sales. Sales funnels and nurturing leads is very important in your marketing game plan. It encourages repeat business, allows you to have good customer data collection so you know what your customers are looking for from your business. And then you can even automate your social media posts and email campaigns. Those are just a few of the marketing areas you can automate, not all of them. So again, we have some flow charts here. We've got the simple version first. Customer makes a purchase, they get a thank you email with a reminder to post a review. Posting reviews for businesses, so this is posting to Google, to Yelp, those kinds of platforms where consumers can post reviews about the business, are really, really important for companies. Most consumers will not automatically go post a review for you. It's just not how consumers function. However, There is a drastic increase of sending somebody a thank you email with a reminder to post a review about the experience they had with your business. That drives people to say, oh my gosh, yes, I would love to post a review for you. That's also beneficial for you because you have a little bit more control in where you guide those reviews to. Maybe you're really, really trying to improve or ramp up the number of reviews you have on Google. In that email, you can say, hey, don't forget to post a review. Here's a link, and it takes them directly to Google reviews. You can do the same with TripAdvisor or Yelp. This is a good trick because if you have really low reviews maybe on TripAdvisor, but a ton on Google, those customers that utilize TripAdvisor as their primary resource for deciding if they're going to work with a company aren't realizing that you are a 5-star company on Google. They just see a couple of reviews on TripAdvisor. So you can encourage your customers to post where you want them to. The other reason reviews are very important is consumers love consumer feedback. Reviews are mouth-to-mouth, word-to-word marketing. And if you're not prioritizing receiving reviews for your business, you're not necessarily hurting your business, but you're not really giving the information to consumers that they love to see that helps them decide your business is the one they want to go support. So this is a really simple version of some marketing automation that you can just put in place and it runs. Let's look at a more scalable, repeatable version though. And this is quite the extensive flow chart, so bear with me. So first, new customer makes a purchase. You send them that thank you email with a reminder to post a review, as well as a link to join your monthly newsletter. They receive the monthly newsletter with promotions and information about new products. They love receiving that newsletter. They open it, they read it. Maybe they even feel encouraged to come purchase some things that you've promoted in the newsletter the following month. A little bit further down in the newsletter, the customers receives an opportunity to receive an exclusive referral if they inform a friend or another individual about your business. Now you're leveraging a customer that you already have and getting free word of mouth marketing from them. They're going to tell their friend or this other person, hey, I really think you should go shop at this company. And then you get a couple new customers off of that one. Now there's your wheel because they're going to get into the same experience that the first customer just went through. They're also going to sign up for the newsletter and it rinses and repeats. You now have consistent business. Whereas that first customer is now becoming even more involved in your business. And they're probably at a point where they might be willing to fill out a customer survey about maybe the products they're looking for or shopping for this holiday season. If you're a retail business and you're stocking up for the holiday season, there's always that little bit of like, okay, I think I know exactly what I want to bring into the business and what my customers will buy. But what if you knew for sure? What if you had the customer data of, okay, I sent out enough surveys to know that I have a very large percentage of my customer group who really is interested in this product or this type of service. You bring that in for the holiday, maybe you're running a special event or a promotion on it, and then you can market it to that same user group who filled out the survey and said, this is what they want. Now they're coming in going, oh my gosh, how did you know? This is exactly what I was looking for the holiday season. I'm going to purchase it from you because you are the company that had exactly what I'm looking for. So this is one of the more repeatable, scalable versions of email marketing. And there is a ton of marketing and email campaign work that you can do and create and design. There's also a lot of fantastic tools out there to help you with this. Some are more complex than others. So again, the key to doing automation with your business is don't focus on these repeatable, scalable versions first. Get comfortable with the small version, the simple version. Even the simple versions can have big impacts to your company. So some of the tools we have for marketing automation, again, Constant Contacts comes up. Constant Contacts is an email marketing tool. They also have that scheduling ability, and they have email campaigns. Emailing is one of the most underutilized marketing tools out there, and it's actually incredibly powerful. I know some of you are probably sitting there going like, I get really tired of all the email marketing that I get sent from these companies, and it feels spammy, and I don't want that. That might be an experience you're having. However, when you look at consumer data and consumer feedback, customers actually really love receiving information they find valuable from the businesses they truly want to support. And that is one of the things we can leverage as small businesses. There is a huge push and initiative out there to shop small, shop local, shop small business. So when you are taking advantage of those email marketing and the campaigning that you can do on a pretty minimal cost to your business, you can remind customers, hey, we're here, we're small, we're local, you can support something you feel good about while you're doing your shopping, especially during the holiday season, which we're coming into. And it's not going to cost your business a whole lot to do it. So Constant Contacts is one of the tools. HubSpot is also a fantastic tool. HubSpot is a little bit more of a CRM platform. So CRM stands for Customer Relationship Manager. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to collect customer data. So it keeps track of how many times this customer came into your business, what they shopped for, what they needed, what you sold them, what services you provided them. And it allows you to curate your email marketing to be specific to groups of customers versus just the entire user base. This is beneficial because if you know this particular group of customers is more likely to buy this service or product than this group is, you don't need to waste your time marketing to this group over here. You can just market to the group you know is going to want what you're getting ready to promote. And then ConvertKit is also a very powerful tool, pretty similar to HubSpot, but more focused on the email campaigns and designing those to be automated. It's very user-friendly. It's also a little bit of a CRM, but the difference is HubSpot is CRM focused, whereas ConvertKit is email campaign focused. All right. So what are some other functions in businesses that you can automate? Well, here's a few additional areas: payroll, data, hiring, workflows, customer service, and online sales. Again, there's a multitude of areas you can automate businesses in, and there's no possible way we could cover them all today. But the ones we have covered are some of the simplest and most impactful ones that you could probably start with right away and see a great return on impact. One thing I do want everybody to think about, because I did just mention tools, and I remember being in the position of a business owner, whenever someone would say like, oh, use this tool, well, also use this tool, but also use this tool, it would really stress me out because A, it's hard to keep a track and use all of these tools and learn them. B, I know that most of these tools are going to come with a cost, and my goal is to save money, not just go spend more money. So this is where I'm going to ask you to do a cost benefit analysis. We've looked at a lot of places you can build an automation. We've also shared several tools. And as you're considering all of these, think about which ones are going to be the biggest impact to your company. Every company is unique. Not every company is going to be able to benefit from the same types of automation flows as another. So let's say you really, really are excited about automating your invoicing, your email campaigns, and your appointment scheduler. Look for the tool that allows you to do all three in the same tool. They're out there, they exist. You're just going to have to do some research versus maybe looking at one-off tools that lets you do each of those individually. This is a good way to assess your cost benefit analysis. Not only are you only going to have to learn one tool, but you are making sure that the expense you're putting into that tool is going to pay off in a huge amount in terms of what you're going to get back from it. That's your ROI, your return on investment. And it's always going to depend on what areas you want to automate. So one of the simplest things you can do is just grab a sticky note and think about, of the things you've seen today, which ones stood out to you the most of areas you could automate in your business? Write those down and go start researching the tools that we mentioned in today's webinar. I tried really hard to make sure the tools I recommend are multifunctional in the sense that they're not just one-off. This is the only thing they do. They don't provide any other benefit. Hopefully all of the tools I have some kind of multi-level use that you can get out of them, and you can find the right tool to really fit your company. And just because I mentioned tools in this webinar doesn't mean that I covered everything that's out there. There are many, many more that exist. And a quick Google search, especially if you know what areas you're trying to automate, will usually lead you to advertising and marketing of companies who feel like their tool would be really beneficial for you. Open those up, learn about them, ask for a product demo. Just because you do a demo doesn't mean you're committed to signing up, but really learn and understand what you can use to help your business out.